painting of a picture of what that guy's probably going to project to be in a couple of years.
It's interesting, too, because when you played, and you played professionally, when did you decide to become a coach?
I knew I was going to stay in baseball. I just didn't know what avenue. And when I got done playing, I had some time to think about it, and I went and coached at St. John's River for Ross Jones, my old pitching coach from Florida. And that's when I had a good idea on, I really love, and it's something I loved catching, being a catcher, was the relationships you develop with pitchers and seeing a pitcher get confidence. That's something that really that I love about the game. And I missed about catching when I started coaching. I got that same feeling again. And then when going to scouting, especially for an organization like the Yankees, it was the ultimate curveball because I love scouting. And, you get to see where these guys develop, and you're getting the opportunity for kids to go out and pursue their dreams. I loved every part of the game, and that's where it's like, it doesn't matter what avenue I pick, I know I'm going to love it.
How'd you hook up with FIU?
It's actually a funny story. I didn't put in for the job. When I left USF, it was when I got into scouting. I really loved it, and I loved what I was learning because I've always been so curious in the game. Even from me going to UF when I was in high school, of anything I didn't know about baseball, like I got to dive into it. I have to study it. And so it's so interesting how it all unfolded, but I loved what I was learning with the Yankees. I didn't put in for the FIU job, and the former assistant coach at FAU took a head coaching job up in the Northeast, and he recommended me to the new head coach at FIU. And I had a cup of coffee with our head coach, Rich Witten, and then he offered me the job probably 3 hours later.
Good coffee.
It was a great coffee, right?
Yeah. Tell us about your team this year.
We got a good team. We had a lot of turnover last year. We lost a lot of players, whether it be portal-wise, and it just means we're doing a good job. If you're losing guys to go make a lot of money at a different school, those things happen. And we had a lot of turnover, so we had to refill the gas tank, I guess you could say, and really take some risk guys, really take some safe players. And right now, we're hitting more home runs than I projected at this point of the year, and which is interesting to say because I don't even want to know how many UF has or, Tennessee's or any of them. But we are off to a good start offensively. We just have to get everything combined into one, whether it comes, what you typically see in a season when you have arms are cooking, hitters aren't. When hitters are cooking, arms aren't. It's just that normal battle that you see early in the year, and that's kind of what we're going through right now. But it's nice to see we're on the bright side of things, on the upper side.
Brian Girolamo joining us here on Sports Scene Now, an assistant coach at FIU, of course, playing here for the Gators a few years ago. For those who don't remember you, Brian, if there's a recent Gator fan here, discuss your time here, what you enjoyed about being at Florida.
There's so many things that I loved about Florida. I'm still in close contact with the majority of our teammates. They even replayed. We lost in the '05 finals against Texas. And if you ask me if I ever had my heart broken, I'd say in '05 when we lost against Texas in the finals. Mm-hmm. But, it's the team, the coaches are still very close to my life. And one of my former hitting coaches at Florida is now the hitting coach again back at Florida. I'm looking forward to seeing him at Tom Slater.
Yeah, yep.
Unbelievable. I always stayed in contact with Slates, and as somewhat, I guess you could say, is more than just a friend, a mentor of somebody that I've always talked to and looked up to. And but back at my time at Florida, it was the greatest years of my life, and I miss it. I miss those years. When you get older and you look back at your time, you realize how fortunate you were to be able to wear the orange and blue and wear it with pride. And as long as the Gators are not playing against me, not playing against myself, family, or anything like that, I'm always going to pull the orange and blue.
It wasn't that long ago that you played college baseball, but how has the game changed, Brian, from the time you played at the college level to now?
Tremendously. There's so much more data involved, and going into, even myself as an early pro, you used to have to study film and watch so much film on pitchers. now that data is given to you. I can tell you, all right, this guy throws 96 to 98. His fastball does this, where before you're trying to watch and see what the ball does on film. And so there's a lot more technology involved and information. And now my job is, how much information should I give the player? What's too much, what's too little? And every player is slightly different. So you got to break it down differently. I guess that's where being a catcher kind of helps me, of kind of understanding of what to give, what's too much and what's too little. But it's the information. And it's tougher now, especially with players getting the opportunity to get paid. It becomes a business side before they're even 21 years old. So it's difficult. It's unique to look at, but I am happy for the players with the success that they're getting and the information they're getting, because it's only going to help them when they get to the pro side.
I'm going to end with this. For those who don't know, he was a catcher, both collegiately and when he played pro baseball. And I think if it's not the most important position on the field, it's darn close. What do you try to tell your catchers in terms of handling of pitchers, all of that? What do you try to impart upon them as some of the most important things to do?
There's verbiage. It's so difficult today because it's changed, where I would almost tell you, like, I was a defensive first catcher at Florida, and I was so fortunate. I always joke about this. Me and Matt Laporta, we hit 3 and 4 hole together. And jokingly, I'd say, we combined for 34 home runs in 2005. He might have had 26 of those, but I always like saying we combined for 34.
Yeah, it's true, though, yeah.
It's a lot of truth, but it's what I try to tell our catchers is be comfortable being uncomfortable. And, as a catcher, you're going to take a lot of blame. If a pitcher throws an incredible game, the pitcher's getting interviewed after the game. If the pitcher struggles, that's when the catcher usually gets interviewed, is when bad things happen. But you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You have a lot of stress. You're not going to get a lot of credit, and that's the way it needs to be. And my job and your job as a catcher is to take care of that pitcher. That's the number one priority by far. If you hit, congratulations. I'll never be happier for a catcher that hits. That pitcher is our number one priority. And it's being a very unselfish player. And if you do it that way, you're going to be loved by your teammates, and you're going to have a great relationship. Not only, even looking back in college when I was on USA, on Team USA, we had Max Scherzer and David Price, still close with all of them. And that's that pitcher-catcher relationship. That's why being unselfish behind the plate is so important.
Always appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming back and doing this. I hope to say hello to you on the field before the game, either tomorrow or Wednesday. But thanks for doing this today, and we'll see you when you get here.
You better come say hello.
I will. I promise you, man. Good talking to you, Brian. Thank you.
Great talking with you guys. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yep. You can see why he was good. He's really good, and he's been a scout, played here, been a coach. He's now at FIU. FIU's head coach, Rich Witten's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Next, however, we're going to get a chance to talk to one Stephen or Spurrier. He's going to come on today about an event he's got going on tonight. He'll tell you all about it next. And don't forget, if you want to be part of the show today, email the show at International Diamond Center. Email is srussell@wruf.com. They are the official jeweler of the Florida Gators. And we want to thank Quality Plumbing and Crystal Air and Water for sponsoring today's show as well. You're listening to Sports Scene on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Lucas Perez. Number 12 Florida swept their 3-game baseball series against Kennesaw State this past weekend at home. The Gators' offense dominated, totaling 32 runs and including a 12-9 win in the final game. Coach O'Sullivan is in high hopes for his team.
Good teams figure out a way to win, even when you don't play as well as you should. And that was obviously a good example of what today was like.
With the win, the Gators moved up to the 10th spot of the D1 baseball rankings. Florida is looking to keep this run going this week as they host the FIU Panthers on Tuesday. On another note, Gators women's tennis bounced back with a 7-0 win over Bethune-Cookman after a harsh loss to number 4 Auburn. The Wildcats were shorthanded, traveling only with 5 players, which forced them to forfeit number 6 singles and number 3 doubles play. The Gators look to resume SEC play on Thursday to face the Arkansas Razorbacks in Fayetteville.
Hey,
Hey, it's Steve Russell for Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue. Friends, they've been in business for 45-plus years, and the Cousins family has done just one thing, but man, they've done it right. They give you the best alternative you have to purchasing a new vehicle, the best in late-model, low-mileage vehicles. I'm driving one right now, have been for a very long time. They've treated me right. They'll do the same thing for you. Go see them today, Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville.
Gator Nation, ready to light it up? Gator Trim Light has already brightened homes and businesses across North Florida. And now they're bringing the heat with full color landscape lighting. Light up your palm trees, bushes, pools, patios, barbecue decks, everything in orange and blue. Whether it's a back porch retrofit or a full custom landscape install, Gator Trim Light makes your home game day ready. Turn your patio into the ultimate victory zone and cheer your Gators on to a big win. Visit GatorTrimLight.com. That's GatorTrimLight.com. Gator Trim Light. Let there be Gator Light.
P.F. Chang's Gainesville is serving up incredible lunch specials starting at just $11.99. So if you're in the mood for Asian fusion cuisine, stop in for lunch today. And don't miss happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. with $5.99 beers, $6.99 wines, and $8.99 cocktails. Make your next lunch or afternoon unwind unforgettable at P.F. Chang's Gainesville, your destination for lunch and happy hour.
It's lunchtime and nobody does lunch like Pomodoro Cafe. From Italian dishes to subs and salads, and favorites like their gamberi salento, shrimp, fresh tomatoes, and zucchini sautéed in garlic and oil with penne pasta and Romano cheese.
This is Steve Russell sharing with you one of my favorite lunch spots, Pomodoro Cafe, located in the Spring Hill Publix complex on 39th Avenue near I-75. Enjoy Pomodoro Cafe today.
And don't forget, they cater online at pomodorocafe.com.
Hey, have you ever talked to Ruse Agra over at State Farm?
Oh yeah, Ruse is awesome. Helped me get a ton of coverage for way less than I expected, and he serves all of North Florida. Super friendly too, actually takes time to explain everything.
Really? I thought State Farm would be pricey.
Nope, surprisingly great rates. You get that neighborly service you don't find everywhere. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I might give Ruse at State Farm a call.
You should. Call 352-240-1779 for a free quote. You'll be glad you did.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Craving real Cuban flavor? Come to Mi Apa Latin Cafe, where every bite brings you home. From our juicy roast chicken with yellow rice and black beans, our breakfast options to sweet plantains, empanadas, and our iconic Cuban cafecito, we've got what your taste buds are waiting for. And with 6 locations, there's sure to be one near you serving up warm hospitality and authentic breakfast, lunch, or dinner vibes whenever hunger strikes. So head over to Mi Apa Latin Cafe, the best Cuban food north of Miami. Visit miapalatincafe.com or stop by your nearest location today.
This is Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators, and you're listening to the home of Gators basketball, right here on WRUF.
By the way, Gators number 7 now in the AP poll. They're moving on up. Don't forget tonight, all the big Monday games on ESPN you can hear right here. Louisville, North Carolina at 6:45, followed by Houston and Kansas. Should be 2 really good games. But we're going to talk a little football now. We're going to bring in the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. He's got a big event coming up at his restaurant tonight. Steve, welcome. I'll let you take this away, Coach. What do you got going tonight?
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Steve. Really looking forward to the event tonight. We have an award. Mike Griffith, a sports writer, lives up in Georgia. But anyway, 5 years ago, he called and said, we want to put your name. We got an award called the Sports Writers Coach of the Year, but the only ones eligible are when it's their first year at the school. So every year we pick out first year at the school guy, and Dan Mullen's going to win it this year. He was a leader by a long shot, won 10 games out there at UNLV. Next year, I'm hoping John Sumrall is going to be the winner, and I think he's got an excellent chance to do it. But anyway, what I like about this event is a whole bunch of my former players are coming back, Steve. We've got Shane Matthews, Riedel Anthony, James Bates, Noah Brandeis. I can go all the way down the line here, and it gives me an opportunity to say something nice about the guys and maybe their highlight play. I'm going to throw out their highlight play, and for an example, Larry Kennedy. Larry got the interception against Tennessee in 1991, and a lot of people at that time thought that was the loudest ever to Swamp. His interception for a touchdown against Tennessee put the game away. We ended up winning like 35-18, but we were only up 28-18 or something like that. And you might say, well, beating Tennessee wasn't that big a deal. I say, yeah, it was. They'd beaten us the year before, 45-3 up there. So we had some bad moments up there. But anyway, all the guys give me a chance to say something good about them, and then honor the coaches. Coach Sticky's going to be there, the guy who hired me.
Wow, that's great.
And I think Mario Cristobal and Kirby Smart are supposed to be there, two of the best in the country right now. So looking forward to seeing all those guys.
This has become quite the event, Steve. I'm sure you're proud to have your name with this and your restaurant with this, but it's kind of it's a good event for college football, but a good event all around, isn't it?
Well, I think what makes it good, we're sort of in a dead time right here.
Yes.
So we like to say that Gainesville, Florida is the epicenter of college football today and tonight. So, not much going on all over the place. I don't think anybody's coming out of the transfer portal, or I hope all the lawsuits are settled about who can play and who can't. So we got the show tonight, and so we're going to honor Dan Mullen and talk about some of my former great players that were here, and honor the guy that's getting the award, Dan Mullen, and we certainly appreciate that.
I know you really enjoy getting back with your former players and sharing memories with them and whatnot. But is it fun kind of talking to the Cristobal's and the Kirby Smarts of the world for you too?
A little bit, sure. Yeah, we enjoy talking to the guys that are currently coaching. And I forgot to mention our legend coach of the year is Coach Fulmer at Tennessee. And let me tell you something, Steve. He had a lot of good teams in the 90s. He had a lot of great teams in the 90s. And sometimes you don't realize when you beat a team, we were fortunate to beat them 5 years in a row somehow. And I was talking to Peerless Price in about 2018 up at the SEC banquet before one of the championship games that year. And he said, Coach, when we beat you guys in 98 they beat us and went on and won the national championship. He said, in my 4 years at Tennessee, that was the only time we beat you guys.
Wow.
You guys beat us 3 times in my 4 years, and those were the only 3 games we lost in the SEC in my 4 years. I said, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's how good Tennessee was back then. They were really good, and somehow or another we managed to beat them most of the time. But the year we didn't, they went on and won the national championship in 98. They beat FSU. And I imagine most of us Gators were pulling for Tennessee in that one. But anyway, yeah, Coach Fulmer is our legend coach of the year.
I'll end with this, Steve. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, look, when you're coaching against a Bobby Bowden, you're coaching against a Philip Fulmer. I mean, those are rivals. Those are games you need to win in the SEC or whatever. But it's also fun, I think, and great to see them come back and, you interact with them. They were in the coaching fraternity too. That must be kind of fun to do as well.
Well, yeah, we're, 20 years long ago.
Past
when
it,
happened,
yeah, right.
25 years ago or more. So we all respect each other. We all know at the time we were trying to get our team to win and play within the rules, and have great respect for Coach Fulmer and really all the guys. Every now and then we'd say something a little cute, but nothing. But his teams all played fair and with great effort. They didn't hit late. They didn't brag about knocking guys out of the game. So as coaches, we all respect the other guy when they play by the rules, and we know we're not going to win them all, but we try to win them all.
Well, Coach, see you tonight and enjoy this event. It's been great. Yep. It's growing and growing. It's really become a big-time college football event. We'll see you tonight. Thanks for doing this.
Bring your jacket. It's going to be a little chilly, but we got heaters outside, so it shouldn't be too bad, okay?
All right, Coach. Appreciate you.
Right.
Thank you, Coach.
Steve.
You got it. Thank you. That's the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, and he's right. Bring a jacket. It's going to be a little chilly tonight, no doubt about it. By the way, rest of the week here, if everything goes right tomorrow, Pat Bradley from the SEC Network will join us to talk SEC basketball and college basketball. Buster Faulkner will join us tomorrow on the program. And a lot of the teams, I'm taking credit for this, because a lot of the guys we interviewed, the high school coaches in the basketball playoffs, won. So we're getting them back. We're running it back with a lot of them. And tomorrow, Williston's Jim Irwin's going to join us. As a matter of fact, they're playing, I believe, tomorrow in the semifinals. And then Patrick Young's going to be with us later in the week. And then Friday, if the technology gods allow, we're going to come to you from Miami there for Gator Baseball. So a lot coming up this week. Dustin, International Diamond Center email, early impressions of the Gator catchers so far. I think Bowen's doing okay, could get better at throwing runners out, perhaps, but hitting. I believe the backup Stanford struggled some behind the plate, but got on base batting. Well, my impressions are good, Dustin. Remember, you can do all you want when it comes to fall ball and, practices leading up to games. Nothing like that game experience. So, look where Bowen's hitting in the lineup. It'll be, a work in progress, and Florida's got depth at that position now. We saw it yesterday. So I think they're in pretty good shape when it comes to that. Now, today, at the bottom of the hour here, again, Florida plays FIU tomorrow and Wednesday here. And Rich Whitten, their coach, will join us. I'm going to ask him more specifically about the team. You just heard from Brian Girolamo, a coach on that staff. Karsten Whitson is also on that staff, former Gator pitcher. So it'll be like old home week tomorrow, seeing those guys. But he's going to join us here in a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, the final half hour of the show today, coming to you live from the Gator Trim Light Studio and fueled by Southeast Car Agency. And don't forget, check out our daily clip of the day on WRUF Facebook and YouTube at WRUF Home of the Gators, brought to you by our friends at Fair Life Milk. And tomorrow, when we start doing the high school interviews, Gator Domino's proud to support our local high schools, a Domino's store in your neighborhood. Call or click www.domino's.com today. And thank you, big thank you to all of our sponsors of Sports Scene. Appreciate you all. If you want to join the party, you certainly can, exposing your business to thousands of sports fans. Contact Freddie, 352-284-3733, and we will get that done. We'll take a break, come back. You'll hear from FIU's baseball coach Rich Whitten next here on Sports Scene on WRUF.
March Madness is coming to WRUF.
It's no fun being injured. The last thing you want to deal with is long wait times or high costs. Well, guess what? You don't have to, thanks to Titan MRI and Imaging. The experience at Titan MRI and Imaging is much more personal than the sterile atmosphere of a hospital. Joe and his team are personally involved and will guide you through the entire process at any of their 3 convenient locations. And they accept insurance. So if you need a scan, save time and money, and call Titan MRI and Imaging. Learn more at TitanMRI.com.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger, and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Every great team is built on a solid game plan, sharp execution, and total trust in the crew beside you. At Quality Plumbing, we bring that same championship mindset to every job we do. For over 40 years, we've been the starting lineup for homes and businesses across North Central Florida, delivering reliable service, expert craftsmanship, and big wins for our customers. Call us today or visit qualityplumbing.com. We're your first string team. License number CFC 043073.
Need a new AC and wondering who to call? I'm Kirk Smith, owner of Crystal Air and Water. Our team of professionals are strongly committed to responsiveness, problem resolution, customer satisfaction, and service excellence. We promise to meet the heating and cooling needs of your home with the most effective and energy-efficient products available. Maybe that's why we're the most liked AC company on Facebook. Follow us today. Crystal Air and Water, online at acpenguin.com.
License number CMC 1249384.
Yes, I'm calling Crystal Air and Water. Call Crystal.
If you're looking for premium, high-quality food served in an unforgettable atmosphere, you're going to love brunch at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
This is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet.
Complete with build-your-own omelet station, served every Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Reservations are encouraged, and walk-ins are always welcome.
Plus, you can enjoy bottomless, mimosas, and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
There are plenty of realtors in town, but few work as hard, respond as quickly, or care as deeply as Doreen Wiebe of Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Community-driven and client-focused, Doreen will work with you to ensure your satisfaction. Whether you're buying or selling, she brings persistence, preparation, and heart to every deal. With Doreen, you're not just another transaction. You're a priority. Call 352-562-1411. That's 352-562-1411.
Whoever said you can't have your cake and eat it too never saw this auto loan rate from Radiant Credit Union. Because from February 20th to March 2nd, you can upgrade your ride and lower your monthly payment. Whether it's new, used, or a refinance, Radiant Credit Union has a special rate to make it happen. Plus, we offer fast approvals and flexible terms to make it easy. At Radiant, you can have your cake. Just keep the icing off the upholstery. Get rolling at radiantcu.org and apply for your limited time low rate auto loan today. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
WRUF, where Gator Nation comes alive. 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. Gator Baseball has a 5-game week coming up next week. We go to Miami for the weekend, but 2 midweek games, both against Florida International University, and their head coach, Rich Whitten, joins us now to talk about his team. Rich, thank you for taking the time. Tell me about your team. Tell Gator fans listening, what have you seen with your team so far? What do you like?
Well, I certainly appreciate you having me on today. And, I know you had a Gator alumni on a little bit ago.
Yeah, I did.
Coach J. Rowe on the hotline. So, we've actually got a pair of them, coming back to town. Really, really proud to have J. Rowe and Coach Whitson on our staff here after, being Gator greats and, having awesome coaching careers themselves. Now we're fortunate to have these guys here. But appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to coming up there tomorrow. We've got a team that, I think we're still learning as the season is progressing through the early part. As a lot of people know in college landscape right now, the transfer portal is a very real factor when it comes to building rosters and roster management. And this was a high turnover year from us, so we had a huge incoming class, but a lot of guys that we like, and I looked at it as an opportunity to both build, talent on the roster, but also make sure we're getting the great fit from a personality standpoint and awesome guys that are going to buy into what we want to do here at FIU. And we got a lot of really good kids, a lot of talented guys, and a lot of new faces that we've had a chance to watch throughout the off season, and now watching them between the lines, continuing to grow and hope to be our best team as the season goes towards the end of the year as these guys grow and mature and learn how to play together. But, we've had some exciting wins early in the year. We've played some close games, had a couple walk-off wins to start with. I still don't feel like it's a group that's clicking on all cylinders right now. But it's a group that we're high on and that we like. So looking forward to coming up there tomorrow and excited to play Florida.
Rich, when you talk about not clicking on all cylinders, what, in your view, isn't clicking quite yet?
Well, I think we've got, 3 or 4 hitters that are really hot and 3 or 4 guys that are a little bit cool to start the season. We've got a pair of returning all-conference freshman players, by name of Andrew Ildefonso and Cole Cleveland, that are guys that earned preseason honors in conference that I expect to have fantastic springs for us. They're great kids. They're super hard workers. They're already evolving into leaders on the team. And as hitting can go, it's off to a little bit of a slower start from them. But they're also getting picked up by some other guys in the lineup right now, as we have a couple hitters that are really shining early on in the season. You look up at Luca Reyes, Aiden Cohall, Sammy Fisher, some guys that are really swinging the bat right now. So, it's a lineup that I feel like we can have a lot of dangerous pieces, as we start to get in sync and continue to get into the routine of the season. And, when you look at our guys on the mound right now, I like a lot of the different looks that we can throw at opposing teams. I think we've got a good mix of left-handed arms, right-handed arms, guys that have different arsenals that can complement each other. I think as they continue to get settled into the season, get comfortable in their routines and in their roles, I think they're going to continue to pitch a little bit better as well. So, and that's part of our job early in the season is to, make sure we're figuring out which roles these guys are going to be successful in, because throughout the off season, you watch them play and you have an idea of it. And then there's also, once the lights come on and you're between the lines and evaluating your team and what's going to give you the best chance to win. So, a lot of it's on our staff right now to make sure we're evaluating this team and putting them in the best positions we can. And as a new group, learning how to play together and what the season's going to feel like as it goes on.
Midweek games from a pitching standpoint, who starts, who would. Do you have guys that you think will be your midweek guys, or you're still kind of tweaking that a little bit?
I think that's going to be an evolving process throughout the spring. Really early on, before you get into conference play, every game that you play is essentially weighted the same, even though Friday night always feels fun and love to compete. But, the Friday night game, the Sunday afternoon game, and the midweek game on the road, they all have similar weight. And, at times, even early in the season, some of these midweek games, whether we're playing Florida, playing Miami, playing FAU, these games can even be, more important for us at times. When we get a chance to play some of these midweek games. So, we go out there every night on Friday night, give it our best shot for 3 games on the weekend and play and pitch to win every game that we have an opportunity to, and then evaluate what the staff looks like after the weekend, how it unfolded on the mound, and then look to create, obviously starters for the midweeks, what a bullpen plan can look like from there. So it'll continue to evolve. But we've got some guys identified for the midweek matchup here, which will be, 2 games, a Tuesday and a Wednesday up there.
You mentioned this, that last year was a high turnover year in terms of the portal, and I guess that's just, the world that, we're in now. But it's got to be a little bit frustrating, doesn't it, Rich, when, you develop some players and you see them really, really do well, and then, you can't keep them. But that's just the nature of the business now, right?
I think there's certainly, that aspect to it. I don't think any of us that coach, we coach because we love the game.
Yep.
We coach because we love developing players. We love getting to know families. We love getting great kids and great recruits in the door and then turning them, out into hopefully professional baseball and with a degree in their hands. And that's why we coach. So it's impossible, not to feel, upset or frustrated or disappointed when maybe a guy leaves or those things that happen. But we don't ever look at it as something, that we talk about consistently, that we whine about, that we complain about. We have no excuses in our program. And so, if guys are leaving, what did they look like when we were recruiting them? Because they didn't look like that when we were recruiting them. So, who is the next guy going to be, that comes in and becomes, an all-conference player for us or becomes the next draft pick for us? And I think we have a great coaching staff that does an awesome job evaluating guys, evaluating tools, and evaluating personalities. And then we've got great development plans when they get here. And so, the one thing I've learned is that it does not do any good to sit around and whine and complain about what happened or what could have been or what should have been. It does not do us any good. Any minute that we're spending complaining about something else is a minute we're not using to get better. And so, we're going to continue to work through that process. And it's not just us. I don't think anybody's safe from the world anymore. It doesn't matter doesn't matter what school you are, whether, you're in the SEC, you're in Conference USA, or, you're in a small conference from the Northeast, because, when there was turnover from the portal, we also recruited portal guys. So there's maybe frustration on our part from a guy leaving, but then there's a coach in the Northeast that's frustrated that his guy is leaving and now coming to us. And so, it's the system that we're in. It's imperfect, but we have the rules, that we have right now, and we're going to coach to the best of our ability and keep our core values in the program and continue to talk about what's important for us and get the right guys in here. And as we've recruited this year, I think the thing that really stands out is being able to have an awesome group of guys that were a lot of transfers. So we have a lot of new faces, but to have this many new players gel and come together as quickly as this team have, I think says a lot about not just the type of players that we brought in, but the type of young men that we brought in as well. And they've been awesome throughout the process, and have just been great guys to be around and to buy into everything, have super high coachability and awesome attitudes from really the moment they stepped on campus.
Rich Whitten, the coach at FIU, joining us here. They come into town tomorrow and Wednesday to take on the Gators. They're 6-2 on the year. I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but here's where I always like. You watch fall ball, you watch, when they get back, and then you see a guy that you saw in the fall and you think maybe he wasn't going to be, and all of a sudden he's in the lineup, or he's part of the pitching rotation. Has there been a guy or two like that for you that sort of came up the ranks, if you will, and now is doing a nice job for you?
That's a great question, and there's definitely a couple guys like that. We talk to the team in the fall of, listen, you put yourself in a position to earn spring opportunities throughout the fall, and then when you get into the springtime, that's when you're going to go win your job. For us right now, a guy that pops off the top of my head is Mario Travella, who's been starting at shortstop most of our games right now. And he's a guy that was a junior college transfer, had some ups and downs offensively in the fall. We were working him out at shortstop, working him out at second base. And, he's really only gotten better and more comfortable with more ABs, that he's gotten more time in the field. And the thing about him is that he's got a motor that doesn't stop. And I love guys like that. I love guys that love to play the game. He loves his teammates. He cheers as loud for his teammates as anybody I hear in our dugout. And that energy is infectious. And so I don't think it's a coincidence with guys that, buy into being a great teammate, have awesome energy, love being at the field, that those guys continue to have more success as the spring goes on. So, he's a guy that was moving around a little bit through the fall. We're evaluating them and has had a great spring so far for us, and been at shortstop most of our games. And on the mound, there's a lot of new guys out there. I think a guy that has thrown really well for us early on in a couple games out of the bullpen, and we got a chance to see him this fall, and we thought he had opportunity to do it, but he's a guy named Ty Riley, who was a Division II All-American last year.
Wow.
And has actually been out of the bullpen a little bit, thrown on the last two Friday nights, giving us some length out of the bullpen on Friday night. He's got a really, unique look, and he's another guy with a real bulldog mentality. I kind of joke with him at times. So I'm a little bit nervous to come take mound visits with you, because it looks like you might bite my head off at times. But he's a guy that's got that fire to him on the mound. And if he's not mad out there looking, I might go over there and poke the bear a little bit, see if I can get him ticked off, because I think he's a little bit better when he's when he's angry on the mound. So. But he's a guy that's, had some ups and downs in the fall as we were, as he was adjusting to the next level, and he's really, really settled in nicely this spring.
That's great stuff. Now I can't wait to see your team play tomorrow on Wednesday. FIU is here. Coach, thank you for the time. Appreciate it, and see you at the ballpark.
Absolutely. See you at the ballpark. Have a great day.
You got it, Rich. Thank you. Good dude, Rich Whitten. And again, two Gators in that staff, Karsten Whitson, Brian Geroliman. Pretty nice thing. By the way, the last two games they played, they're 6-2. So the record is very good. But how about this? They have played. They've scored more than 10 runs 4 times already. They beat Villanova 13-3. They beat Bethune-Cookman 12-5. They beat Holy Cross 14-10. And then yesterday, they lost 20-17 against Holy Cross. Yeah, like a low-scoring college football game. But they're coming to town tomorrow. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll open the phone lines for one last segment today. You're listening to Sports Scene, fueled by our friends at Full Color Landscape Lighting, Gator Trim Light, and Southeast Car Agency here in Gainesville on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Ava Marrero. Gator boys stay hot as they jump to number 7 in the AP poll. Florida basketball went on the road and routed the Ole Miss Rebels 94-75 Saturday. Guard Urban Klavzar had a big game for the Gators, scoring 15 points and going 4 for 5 from 3. Head coach Todd Golden spoke on his impact for the team.
One of the best guards in the league off the bench. He's been a spark for us all year that way. Been incredibly efficient from both 2 and 3, and a guy that comes in and isn't afraid of the moment and is shot ready at all times. And his explosiveness, offensively, his ability to shot make for us gives us a big lift when he comes in the game.
Florida will travel to play the Texas Longhorns on Wednesday. Florida baseball goes undefeated this weekend in their 3 games against Kennesaw State. Florida scored 32 runs across the 3 games. The Gators will be back in action on Tuesday against FIU.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
Gator Nation, did you know the UF bookstore, located right inside the University of Florida's Rights Union, is more than just textbooks? That's right. Gear up with officially licensed Gator merchandise from top brands like Nike, Peter Lamar, Lululemon, Columbia, Tommy Bahama, Apple, and more. From game day to every day, we've got the styles Gators love. Stop by the Florida bookstore at Rights Union. The Florida bookstore, where Gators shop.
Go Gators!
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for core power and rise to a whole new level of recovery. Protein to build muscle. Electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to power on. Champion your recovery with Core Power.
At Comfort Temp Heating and Air, we're proud to celebrate 40 years as your #1 local HVAC company. We offer energy-efficient solutions featuring quality products from Lennox. Whether it's new installation, system repairs, or routine maintenance, we promise to never sell you anything you don't need. Our professional and experienced technicians provide reliable service you can trust and will keep you informed throughout the entire process. At Comfort Temp, comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise.
Are you ready to raise your game when it comes to your Gators gear? Head over to Alma Mater in Gainesville. You'll find just what you need to rep your team in style. From one-of-a-kind Gator tees and hats to NIL gear, they've got the perfect Gator swag for every fan in all kinds of weather. Whether it's game day or any day, you'll be winning with officially licensed apparel found nowhere else. Locally owned, locally produced. Alma Mater, in-store at the corner of 34th and University or online at almamaterdesign.com.
Concrete is tough, long-lasting, durable, and when it's done right, it's the foundation of everything that stands strong. At Silverback Concrete, we don't just pour concrete, we build trust one slab at a time. We're a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists who sweat every detail, from footers to elevated decks. We respect your budget, we build to last, and we care about the people on the job today and those who will walk these floors tomorrow. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete, we've got your back. Visit silverbackconcrete.co to get started. it.
For more than 50 years of quality service, Archer Electric Service Company has been Gainesville's choice for residential and commercial electrical work. Whether you need wiring, repairs, or backup generator installation, we treat every client like family with professional, clean, dependable service. Don't wait for the storm or the flicker to remind you. Visit ArcherElectricService.com today for a free consultation and see why we've been Gainesville and the surrounding area's most trusted electricians for decades.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
We are heading into the coldest night of the week. I'm expecting the mercury to plunge down to around hard freeze territory, which is 28 degrees. That's why a freeze warning is in effect for all. Make sure to check on the people, plants, and pets. Tomorrow will be a few degrees warmer with a high temperature of around 58 under sunny skies. The 70s will return to the forecast on Wednesday. From the WT Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Andrew Wolfeck.
You're listening to Sports Scene with Steve Russell, right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF mobile app.
That group right there, CCR, never, all the hits they had, never had a number one. They had like 4 number 2s, never had a number 1. And that they had a lot of them. They were good. Welcome back. Let's get to our last, 6-7 minutes. We still have time for your phone calls here, 392-8255. And you can also email the show, International Diamond Center email, srussell@wruf.com. We didn't have any. Oh, we do have them. Yeah, okay. I didn't see here. YouTube questions brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Facebook Live questions courtesy of Ruse Over State Farm. Scott, I think this is, we know Halk and most likely Chinyelu will be gone next year. Any chance Condon would come back for his senior year? To me, he still needs more work. Yeah, I think there's a chance. Look, I think that, like anything else, they get evaluated, right? And if he's not going to be a first-round pick, I would think he would lean toward coming back. Daryl, listening to Coach talk about Larry Kennedy's interception brought back memories of giving a friend 21 points in Tennessee. That interception won my bet. Times have changed, giving that many points. Yeah, no doubt. BB, hats off to the U.S. goalie Connor Hellebuck. He was outstanding. He said he never saw anybody get out of so many tight situations since Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Hate to be the elephant in the ointment, but isn't that going to be a bit of an uncomfortable situation surrounding Dan Mullen showing up tonight at Steve's event? No, not at all. Professional. He won the award. He's going to be there to get it. I don't think it's going to be that at all. I like Dan understanding his feelings to a certain degree, which he hadn't said those things, but I don't think it'll be in that setting. He's there as a coach. You know, what he did at UNLV. And I don't know that it's going to go past that. At least it shouldn't. Let's get to Rob here. Rob, hello.
Hey, Steve. You know, that hockey game last night, the men's game, in the second period when they were up 5-on-3 and couldn't score, man, I tell you, that was incredible. Let me ask you a hockey question. When a guy loses his stick on the ice and it's laying there, what's the rule on that? And I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, thank you. I don't know about a rule. It stays there. I don't think anything. You have to. You are on the ice. You can kick the puck, and you can just go retrieve your stick. I believe that's the rule. By the way, don't know. It's interesting. Tomorrow we'll talk a little football, as well as basketball, because it's just going to be because of this event tonight. Hopefully, we'll get some interviews tonight, replay them for you tomorrow, and during the week. So I'm looking forward to going over there tonight and getting some of those for you. And spring football right around the corner. Yeah, spring practice begins the first week of March. And I'm interested to see, how much is open, what we can see, what we can't see. We will soon find out, though, when it comes to that. And how about this? Do you remember me saying on Friday, it's been a long time since game day's been here? They must have heard me because they're here. I'm just kidding. But it's nice that they're going to be here for that. And it should be a lot of fun to have game day here. And trying to get a member of the game day crew to be on the show here as well. Friday, if the technology gods allow, we'll be broadcasting from Miami, where Gator baseball is and where I will be and Jeff will be. So that'll be a first, being on the road a little bit here. Gators softball continues their rampage. They're 19-0, whatever they are. Played really well. So congratulations to them for all of that. And that's a pretty cool thing to see them be where they are in this. Now, again, they go to California this week. We'll start to see, a little more in terms of, what they're going to do and all of that. But you can't ask for a better start. Gators swimming represented itself well at the SEC championships as well. So, once again, some pretty good stuff. 2 last emails here. We will call it a day. Philip says, what are your impressions of Gator baseball to this point? Well, first of all, it was good to see the Friday night guy get right. Because if he didn't, if he had another bad outing, there would have been a lot of questions raised and asked. So good for him that he got that right. I do think they're closer now to an everyday lineup. I think Bowen's going to be the catcher. When he gets spelled, he'll probably be the DH. Miller played at third. Does he stay there now? But certainly, I think the outfield with Strayer and Jones and Blake Sear isn't going to change anytime soon. Curlin's going to stay at second. I don't foresee Lawson leaving. So, they're pretty close to a set lineup. Now, their bullpen, I think that's going to be a bit of a work in progress. We didn't see Luke McNeely. And Sandifer, I think, is back this week after an injury. So that, I think, more question marks than maybe what I see in terms of the lineup. But right now, and again, we're only how many games into this? But I do think you're starting to see some guys solidify spots, and certainly the Friday, Saturday, Sunday starters are going to remain where they are. Our thanks today to Coach Spurrier for being here. Got a big event at his place tonight. And then former Gator Brian Girolamo, now on the FIU staff, join us. Always great to talk to him. And their head coach, Rich Witten, joining us here. Again, tomorrow, Pat Bradley from the SEC Network talks hoops. Buster Faulkner will talk Gator football tomorrow. And we'll have a couple of high school interviews with some of the basketball teams still alive in the high school basketball playoffs. Thanks to Caroline for producing today. We thank you for listening, and thank you for listening to Hoop There It Is as well. I'm Steve Russell. Enjoy the rest of your day. We will see you tomorrow at noon for a Tuesday edition of Sports Scene. Kevin and the Sports Lab gang next. Don't go anywhere as you listen on WRUF.
This is former Gator quarterback Shane Matthews, and you're listening to the home of Gator sports, WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Want to get your brand noticed? At Radware, we help you stand out with custom corporate apparel, branded uniforms, and promotional